KUGAN CASSIUS IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're in Liverpool, ahead of October 9th. Smith Fowler, absolutely banging show. I'm joined by Mr. Solomon Dacres. Hello, how are you first of all?
I'm all good, KUGAN, yourself?
And a man that doesn't really come on the camera too often, Mr. Max McCracken. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good, KUGAN, how are you?
Lovely. I'm so pleased you're in this interview, Max. So, Eddie Hearn said you wanted Sokolowski for your debut. Obviously, you've got a team around you that probably would have advised you at the time, have a couple, then jump with him. You said the same thing as everyone thinks. If you're not on it against someone like Sokolowski, you could come unstuck. But this is kind of where you want to test yourself.
Exactly, like you just said there. If I'm not on my A game and I'm not focused and I don't underestimate him, like I said, I can come unstuck. So I've got to make sure I take it as the way I'm looking at it, improving myself, showing the level that I can be, being the best that I can be in there, because that's what I've got to be the best to beat him on the night.
Max, you'll know about, obviously, Sokolowski, and he's upset people, but he's also had decisions that haven't gone his way. We've seen it with David Adelaide. But what kind of test is this for Sol?
It's a good step up for his third fight, Sokolowski. You know, he's experienced and he's a rugged, tough kid, strong kid. I think he'll bring the best out in Sol. You know, these are the sort of opponents that Sol wants. He wants to move forward with his career. So, good opponent, Sokolowski, but I'm confident Sol will do a good job on him.
It's almost like becoming the S-Jam way to kind of test you guys. Obviously, we saw Johnny Fisher the other day, and the way Sam talks about him, but not just him, the whole stable of kind of maybe pushing fighters not ahead of where they're meant to be, but just kind of bringing that step a little bit closer.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to make those little step-ups because, like I've said to other people, if I have 10, 15 fights and I've not really had a test, and then I fight one good fighter, and I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? You've got to prepare yourself for those steps, and it's just preparation, really. Fighting good fighters prepares you to fight even better fighters, and that's what we want, because we want to fight the best and be the best.
No, he's only had 2 fights, but so far, have you seen a difference, an improvement between fight 1 and fight 2, Max?
Yeah, well, the first one with Manev, he was a, experienced journeyman, wasn't he? A tough kid. He was a decent amateur him. So, Sol learnt from that fight. He got 6 good rounds. The second fight, he sort of took his time a little bit more, learned to pace himself a little bit. Then when he switched it up, he got him out of there, which, you could see the improvements from the first one.
You agree with that, yeah?
Yeah, I agree. Like you say, after that first fight with Manev, I threw loads of punches, I threw tons of punches, and I went the distance all 6 rounds. Maybe if I had a few more rounds, it would have broke him down. He was pretty fucked anyway, but, it would have stopped him later on. But then I realised in the 6, I can sit myself down on a few shots, and I got him out in 4 rounds because I just took my time a bit more, and I just made the shots count that I put in there.
Well, October 9th should be some night. I mean, the fights on this card are unreal, to be honest with you. There's the main 3, and then there's Ryland Charlton and Willis and yourself and Sokolowski. It's a great card in general. Yeah,
the whole card, top to bottom, it's all competitive fights. There's no walkovers. I'm even saying that about myself. I expect to do a good job, but it's not a walkover. So it's going to be great fights all across the card, from start to finish. And with the Liverpool crowd, sell out that arena, it's going to be a really good night. I'm buzzing for it because it'll be my first one with a full crowd. First fight was no crowd. Second one I did in Newcastle, there was a semi of a crowd, and this one should have a full arena, so it's going to be a good night.
I was told Sam Jones was coming. I haven't seen him here. Is he in the toilet?
Yeah, he's in the toilet at home, I think, changing nappies. Yeah, he was going to come up, but things got switched around. He couldn't make it up, so we'll see him at some point. Don't worry about that.
I've just spent the whole week with him in fight camp, so we're good. Have you got anything else you'd like to add before we finish, mate?
Just looking forward to the fight and tune in because my career is progressing and it'll progress nicely, and just get tuned in now and you'll be in for some good fights, and and I've got good sponsors supporting me, and any more sponsors that might see this can jump on to message me, Solomon Dacres on social media. I've got my Loot clothing on now. They're sponsoring me great for my fights. I'll have the fight kit ready. True Malt sponsoring me, fantastic sponsorship. October Red Boxing as well as Mark Convey again, big Mark Convey at MC Bargains. He's going to jump in as well for this fight. And LA Metalworks as well, supporting me. So these are guys that are supporting me now from my first fight. And now I'm going to my third fight, and it really helps because it's allowing me to stay in the gym, stay in training camp, and focus on my boxing. So the sponsors are important.
Just a final one, while it's fresh in my brain. You watched Babic and Bennett the other day. What did you make of that fight?
It was a good brawl, weren't it? It it wasn't the most sweet of science, but it's a good brawl. And Babic, you get what you get with Babic. Just comes forward for him. Bennett, I mean, no offence to him, but he's in terrible condition. You know, he could barely, after the first round, I think he barely had a lung left, you know. And Babic just kept ploughing away at him, you know. There was no finesse about it, but it was what it was, you know. It was a good scrap, you know. It was a good scrap.
I'm not going to ask you this question. I'll ask you this question because you're focused on October 9th. But future fight for Sol? Alan Babic, maybe?
Possibly, yeah. You know, it needs building, doesn't it? You know, that'd be like a massive fight in Birmingham with Babic, but there's only one winner, so that's 100%. But yeah, it's a good fight that could be built.
We can do one fight in Birmingham, one fight in Croatia.
There's only money in Croatia.
As long as it's on the coast.
Guys, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and we look forward to a great night here in Liverpool on October the 9th.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'll see everyone there.
Thank you very much, Sol. Thank you very much, Max. Cheers, mate.